Hello everybody and welcome back to Robert's Reviews. If you remember, about like 3 weeks ago-ish, I did my review for the first season of this show. And I talked about the reason why I was watching it, which is that the prequel's coming out, and my buddy is also watching it, so I figured I'd watch it with him, although he's, seasons and seasons ahead of me, because I watch a movie every day, so it's hard to also fit in an extra hour of The Sopranos. But I figured it out, and we're working on it, we're plugging along. I still think that I am going to finish before the prequel. At worst, I just take a day and I binge watch like an entire season before the prequel comes out. Not ideal, but it might happen. And you know what? That's okay. But today, we're going to be talking about The Sopranos Season 2. Sopranos Season 2 was released in the year 2000. So it is 21 years old, which, it blows my mind how old that is. Because, I'm 20, and, the quality isn't bad. I want to, mention that real quick. First of all, of course, no spoilers talking about the entire season, but still. The quality is very good for a television show from the year 2000. And, it is an HBO show, so a lot of HBO shows have higher quality than most other shows. It's just true. You can try to deny it all you want. I also try to deny it, but it's just true. They have better quality shows and movies in terms of, cinematic experience. But I think that this season is just about as good as the first season, but there are some issues I'd like to discuss, which... The main issue that I had was that the first one, I think, was more centralized along the immediate family of Tony Soprano, right? With, his kids and his wife. And that was, really nice, because they had the mob boss stuff, which is really cool to, see him, try to rise up the ranks of that, but also focus on family. And, of course, the psychologist, which is, the therapist is so cool. I love the idea of that. And this season does build on a lot of those ideas. This season does take that, and it does say, all right, how can we go to the next level with this? There are some scenes and episodes in particular, such as the one where Meadow kind of destroys the grandmother's house, and then she feels responsible for it, so she goes to clean it up. I thought that was a beautiful representation of what I liked from the first season of The Sopranos. This season takes a few things a little bit farther, which I think some people will like and some people will not like. I didn't particularly care for Tony Soprano's sister at all. I don't care about her. I don't know if she'll be in other seasons, but she shows up in this season and, I get it. It's cool. The ending of her character arc from just this season is really cool. I like the idea of it, but I just don't really care for the character, and I want to talk about why I don't like the character, because I think that some people might not like her but not know how to talk about it, so I'm going to start talking about that now. The main issue that I had with Tony Soprano's sister is that we are supposed to not like her as well, right? So we see all the stuff that Tony Soprano doesn't even see, and we still don't like her on purpose because we see all the stuff that she does as negative. We see that she's literally trying to take over the house so she has somewhere to live. We see that she is literally just doing these things just to hurt Tony, and she doesn't like Tony. And that makes us also not like her. But what I think could add a different layer to this character is getting us to actually like her, which is hard to do because our main character does not like her, right? So when our main character, who we already don't really like, we don't like Tony as a person, we think he's an awful person, he's a mob boss killing people, but we also kind of feel for him because he's the main character. So if we take that and we reciprocate that onto his sister, we could theoretically like her and then have this kind of dispute between whether or not we think Tony's better or Tony's sister, whose side are we on, which is what I think that TV shows do very well, better than movies most of the time, is it allows us to pick a side, right? A movie is about 2 hours long. You have 2 hours, they have to be on the protagonist's side every time. It's the basic movie formula. But TV shows are but what if you didn't like the main character, which is what I think Breaking Bad does great. I don't have reviews for that yet on my channel. I've watched it billions of times. I'll rewatch it and then I'll upload stuff for Breaking Bad if you want. I do love Breaking Bad, which is why I allude to it a lot for TV shows, because it's my favorite TV show of all time. Where in Breaking Bad we have Walter White, who we kind of like because he's the main character, but for the most part we're also we also think he's a really bad dude. And that's kind of how we feel with Tony Soprano. And I think that if we had kind of elevated some of the likeness of him onto his sister, whereas maybe she wasn't maliciously trying to take over the house, maybe she was doing it for the right reason, but we know that she wasn't, which is why I don't think we are supposed to like her character, which just makes us not like Tony or her more, which I think could have been better if we had actually tried to like Tony's sister. That's just like an overall thought about that. She's the main new character from the season, so I wanted to talk about that for a little bit because I feel like it's important to talk about the new people. The old people are great. I mean, I think that Meadows finally actually getting more screen time. She's actually developing as a character. She's going to college, I think, starting season 3, I would assume, unless season 3 takes place over the summer, which is possible. And then ends with her leaving to go to college. That would be smart. I even like his son. What is his name? Is his name also Anthony? Is that AJ? I think it's AJ. I like his character a lot. I think that it's really fun to get to see him finally realizing he can stand up for himself. He can, talk back and like get away with it. And also the existentialism episodes were great. I thought that was a wonderful idea. And I like the characters in general. The wife is getting better too, where she's got like another kind of love interest that isn't Tony, because before she had the pastor in season 1, and then in this season she finds this painter that she likes, but then he doesn't really like her back as much. It's really complicated. It's really cool. I like it a lot. I think it worked very well. Tony himself is finally mob boss starting in episode 13 of the first season, and it's really cool to see him like work on things, because before we had Uncle June, and he's cool, he's a cool character, but like we knew that he wasn't very good at running things, and we knew that Tony was doing it anyway. But now that he is the mob boss, it's cool to see him realize that he needs to be even quieter about what he's doing, so that no one else knows that he's the mob boss. Then we have Big Pussy, who is like really cool in this season, where he's basically with the FBI trying to like help them get Tony. It's so complicated. It's a lot of complex characters. And the other character that I want to talk about for a little bit is the therapist, who, it upsets me this season that she just doesn't have as much to do, because Tony doesn't really want to go to her. She doesn't really want to see Tony, but then she realizes that like she needs to see him. It's this weird craving she has, and I really just want a freaking romantic relationship between these two. I want it so bad. I'm like, just get together. You love each other. Oh, it's complicated, and we still have like 4 seasons where that could happen. So I'm hoping that like we can expedite that process a little bit. Whether or not it actually happens, I don't know yet. I haven't seen the show, but I hope it does. Overall, for like the directing, the writing, I thought it was pretty good. We do have. I haven't talked about Christopher yet. Oh man, Christopher's great. He has acting lessons in this season, and he kind of gives up the screenplay, but he's still picking it up a little bit here and there. There's an episode where Jon Favreau's there, like the actual Jon Favreau. I was like, "What are you doing here?" I was like, great. It was awesome, and I don't know. I just feel like it was a really solid season overall. I just don't think I liked it as much as the first season. I think the first season did a better job of balancing the mob stuff with the family stuff, whereas this one was like mob stuff and Tony's sister. And I'm like, I don't really care about Tony's sister. So I'm hoping that season 3 does keep everything that we have from this season, but kind of make it more relatable to the actual family of the Sopranos instead of just Tony and his sister, which I think that it will. I think that we're going to be getting there. We're going to talk about the kids more, I think. The kids are obviously going to grow up soon because, the actors are going to get older. They don't replace them, so I'm really excited to see how much they progress. But this season was like very good. I think it definitely built upon what we had before. I just think that I think I enjoyed it a little bit more in the first season. So I'm going to go ahead and give The Sopranos Season 2 an A-. If you haven't seen The Sopranos, definitely check it out. It is on HBO Max. You probably can watch it on TV. They're probably doing reruns all the time now. Because the prequel, which is called The Many Saints of Newark, is coming out October 1st, I think it is. So definitely check that out if you're interested in that. If you start right now and you binge it a little bit, you might actually get there before the prequel happens. I think I still have enough days to do it. I don't really know. I have to count, but like, I think I can do it. But if you want to see more of this kind of stuff, definitely subscribe. It's a huge help. Once we get to 150, I'm going to be dressed up like Spider-Man going to Walmart. If you want to see that, which of course you do, definitely subscribe, like the video, share it with friends, and as always, keep watching movies and television, stay educated, and I'll see you guys in the next video.